Shalom. I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. My name's Kanawak from GMS Toronto. Doing another lesson here in regards to this secret society known as the Boule, which I looked it up. It means counsel or advisor to the king, And this is a group of so-called Negroes, the so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, and the Southern Kingdom, who made a covenant with the heathen, man. Because like in the time of the Greek Empire, and the Roman Empire, our people made a covenant with Antiochus, and the nations that were around about us. When you read First Maccabees 1 and 11, I could get it. I start at 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus, the king who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. And in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them we have had much sorrow. So instead of because our people knew that they were Israelites, because our people were in the land of Israel, and instead of wanting to keep the laws, they want to differ away from the law, statute, commandments of the Heavenly Father, and start practicing heathen customs, man, and aspiring to be like the heathen instead of worshiping the Most High, So they the same thing what our people are doing now by following all these pagan customs, like Christmas, all these high holidays, Halloween, and these other customs. It's the same thing what our people was doing back then, but for the people who's actually members of these secret societies, they're actually doing a whole lot of pagan rituals, man. Homosexual acts, blood sacrifices, man. And countless other things, man. Demonic things, man. Which are totally against the scriptures, man. So, in order for you to be successful in this society, and to rub shoulders or bump heads with certain high officials in this kingdom, you have to be a part of this secret society, man, to really enjoy the benefits of this kingdom, man. And that's why a lot of people are able to get away with a lot of things, murder, all kinds of things, because a lot of these things that's been going on, on the news or in this society, is just rituals being played out, man. Like Crips and Bloods, they're supposed to be enemies and stuff, but if you look into the origin of this gang, their leaders were Masons, and they have Masonic practices, all these gang signs, throwing up all these different signs, where average nigga, whatever, he might be throwing up signs and he doesn't know what it means or what it goes back to, man. But for those in the know, they know what it goes back to, man. So let me finish this. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain other people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them a license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, wherein they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the custom of the heathen. When that place of exercise goes back to the whole gym, the fitness, which gym goes back to the Greek word gymnos, which means naked. If you look that up, even the Olympics, the men and women, they ran but naked. They played the Olympic games back then naked, man. All that shit's some heathen stuff, man. And then that's why today they made them wear these tights, basically exposing all their body parts, man, so to speak, you know. But back then they were doing stuff dead ass, bare naked, man, you know, butt naked, so to speak, you know, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant. Uncircumcised means that they went away from our customs, man, you know, and they also stopped circumcising their children, you know, because circumcision in the flesh was something that's required of us, man, even now, you know, for any brother in the truth who's not circumcised, you know, look about your circumcision, man, you know, 'cause that's a very important thing, you know. It says, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief, man. And that's what our people is being sold to do, man. Like Drake, Jay-Z, Puff Daddy, Oprah, and countless other celebrities. You know, they sold themselves to do wickedness, man. You know, and for you up and coming rappers and basketball players, you know, you guys are being recruited by a social network via internet, you know, emails, phone calls, or texts, you know, or someone might approach you, you know, to see where you stand, you know, and you know, try offer you things, man. You know, I'm gonna get this. Like, this is a rapper, up and coming rapper in the city, and this is what someone messaged him, and he posted it on his page, you know, because this guy, he's from Regent Park or whatever, and he's youth. He's actually trying to do a lot of youth outreach programs, you know, to quell down the violence in the city and help the inner city youth, you know. And whenever the elites, they see that you have influence or power, you know, to change people's vision, or to change people's mindset, you know, for something positive, what they do is they try and buy you up, man. And this is what someone sent him. It says, the Illuminati is an elite organization that bestows on its members wealth, power, and fame, and its teachings are beneficial to the world and knowledgeable to its followers, and there are certain benefits entitled to new members of the Illuminati, which include $25,000, a personal house, and an official car, and we are always watching out for new people to follow the light and be a part of the great new world order. Would you love to be a member? Add me on WhatsApp. Then he put his number or whatever, you know. And then I don't know if this was the guy's reply or the guy got another message. He put, you missed the morning meeting. I'm the new boss. You answer to me now. Get with it, or I fire you faster than you join. And then I guess this is what he replied. He said, they out in full force today, twice in one day. Then someone else messaged him, or the same guy on a different account. Hello, brother. Then he messaged the guy Turk. He put, what's good? Do you want to join the Illuminati and become rich and famous? Then I guess he replied, suck a fart out of a dead ghost ass, bud. You know. Yeah, man, you know. Yeah, man, so like, that's what's going on out here, man. You know, that's why a lot of these guys, especially here in the Toronto scene, they're getting famous overnight, you know. And I'm sure a lot of these guys are being approached, man, by this society, because even when you go into the hood, you know, a lot of guys, they have the square and compass on their car. Certain guys wear the rings or the chain and stuff, A lot of people are are part of different lodges all throughout Toronto and the greater Toronto area, man. You know, and these guys are high-ranking members of certain crews and stuff. And let's say someone's a member or whatever, and they have beef in the street or whatever. It's all just a big deception, man. Because these guys will sit down at the same table and discuss ways to prosper, and who they're gonna sacrifice next, or all kinds of wicked imaginations, man. So violence and all these things, like people being murdered in the street, not just here in Toronto but all over the world. That this is a part of their rituals and stuff, man. Like Drake, one of his symbols is the owl, which goes back to Molech. Which Molech is a god that requires a lot of sacrifice and blood. So you already know what those guys are into, man. And why they're so prospering, or why they're so prosperous, man. Let me get another scripture, just to stay on point. We're gonna get Ephesians. Ephesians 6. This is now that we're getting closer to the end, a lot more things are going to be made manifest, and they're going to try to recruit a lot of new members, and because they know that a lot of guys are waking up to the truth. So what they're trying to do, they're trying to corrupt as much Israelites as they can, because they know that the so-called white man knows that he's going down, so he's gonna use the wicked of our people to try to recruit more souls into their organization. But you're not gonna get any members of the elect. So whoever wants to be a part of that shit, go ahead, because it's gonna be vain, and you're gonna die. So you're just some of you guys are already dead now, because you guys sold out. It says Ephesians 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye might be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. What's one of the wiles of the devil? Trying to make you worship him, man. Trying to recruit you, so that you could be corrupt. And that's why a lot of these guys are prospering, man, because they don't want to catch out, man. They want the easy way out, but they don't know that when you accept the terms, and when you negotiate with the devil, with the so-called white man, and you start doing all this evil stuff, that it gets deeper and deeper. The rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper, and it doesn't end. And it's going to require sacrifice. It's going to require you to do things that you don't normally do. So if you're not a homosexual, you're going to have to eventually start doing all this homosexual shit, all kinds of shit. You're going to have to change up your whole life. That's why a lot of these guys get messed up, strung out on drugs. Some of them commit suicide, or they just looked all fucked up after a while, man. Cause this is stuff that your spirit's not used to, man. Because as an Israelite, but you guys wanted the easy way out, It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And the deeper you get in the truth, the deeper you see things, man. The deeper you will see things, man. And the Most High, he's dealing with Esau and the elite or the Illuminati or whatever on the left hand side, man. And the Most High has a secret society on the right hand side. That's us, man. The brothers out there, hives and byways, who's doing the work. So that's his true counsel, man. And his ultimate sacrifice was the Lord, dying on the cross for us. And the next big sacrifice is gonna be America being destroyed, man. Ultimately. And I'm gonna get that. Then I'm gonna read into this article. You could go on this Secret Society blogspot, and it's entitled the Boule Skull and Bone Society. I was supposed to read the stuff from it, but I didn't get a chance. But this is a good article for those brothers, who wanna research this, cause this is things that we should know as Israelites, as potential members of the elect. You have to know the good and evil, man. The tree of life, you have to understand, man. One script. When I get it. Let me get a script. Oh, hold on. One moment. Isaiah. This is Isaiah 34 and 6. Because the Most High, he has a sacrifice, that he's gonna do a big sacrifice, like 9/11 and all these things, like that was a sacrifice by the Illuminati, to bring in all these new laws, to prosper, and to basically to begin their new world order, man. So that their next big false flag and stuff is gonna be a bigger sacrifice, man. And it says Isaiah 34 and start at 1. Come near, ye nations, to hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. So even our nation, man. 2/3 of our people are gonna feel the indignation of the Lord, man, which means righteous anger. And his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's talking about nuclear destruction, man. Because when the atomic bomb, if you look at the atomic bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and and other trial runs, what they did, where they tested like the nuclear capability back then. When that goes off, it looks like a scroll being rolled up, because that's how it looks when it explodes, And all their hosts shall fall down, their armies, and as a leaf falleth from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which Idumea is another way of saying Edom in the Greek, and upon the people of my curse, the judgment. Who's the people of the Lord's curse, man? The 2/3, man. Who sold the fuck out, man. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood, and is made fat with the fatness and with the blood of lambs, 2/3, and of goats. So you Edomites and you other nations, and the fat kidneys of rams. For the Lord have a sacrifice in Basra, and Basra represents America today, because Basra was the capital of Edom, man, and America is the stronghold of the so-called white man today. And that's gonna be totally destroyed, man. And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, And the unicorns shall come down with them, and bullocks with bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the Lord's controversy of Zion. So things are gonna get worse and worse, man. Till the great day of the coming of the Lord, because the Lord's not coming back with peace, man. He's coming back to kill. And the Most High is a man of war, man. Exodus 15:3. He's not coming back to make peace with you nations. He's coming back to war, and to and to redeem his elect, and to bring order back in the earth, man. So the Lord's not coming back to play any games, man. So this is off the site, the Boule Skull and Bone Society. In 1904, the first African American Greek secret society was formed in Philadelphia by Dr. Henry Minton and 5 of his colleagues. Six members. Which 6 represents basically it represents perfection, and then on the left hand side represents it's a sinister number, man. And pronounced Boule was formed to bring together a select group of educated black men and women, fashioned after Yale's Skull and Bones. The Boule historically takes pride in having provided leadership and service to black Americans during the Great Depression, World Wars I and II, and the Civil Rights Movement. What could the Boule offer America's blacks in the early 20th century? And this is not just in America, this is all over the world. They have different members or different secret societies, because you have Israelites in Africa, in Europe, who have their who's a part of this shit, a part of this plan. It said joining the exclusive secret society offered advancement and perks to select blacks in return for loyalty to its objectives. The Boule recruits top black in American society into its ranks. Today, 5,000 plus Arkans, male Boule members, and their wife Achusas, with 112 chapters, make up the wealthiest group of black men and women on the planet. Arkan means demon, the kind that like to keep hidden. So yeah, that's how our people are. Right now, they work from any member. Most people who's a part of a secret society, they're not gonna let it be known that they're a part of it. And they're gonna recruit people, because the more people you recruit, the more advancement you get. And they have their ulterior motives ultimately. So whether they want to recruit you, to sacrifice you, to do whatever, because ultimately it's just a trap, It says, but to who does the Boule really serve? The satanic, mostly white global elites, as long as the black member conform to the rules, and they're in all aspects of society, man. In every trade, every the higher you, if you're high up in the society, every aspect of society and every organization, man, they try to infiltrate. So even with our congregation, Great Millstone, you're gonna have members, who like infiltrate the camps and stuff, who spies and stuff, and they're agents set up, because they're in all aspects of society, man. They try to infiltrate every organization, man. That's what they do. It says as long as, and that's why a lot of these different congregations, they teach different doctrines and stuff, because a lot of these guys are paid off, But our apostles, we just give it to you raw, man. We don't hold back nothing, man. It says, as long as the black member conform to the rules, the riches will be in abundance. And I guarantee you that these guys aren't going to bring out articles like this, man. It says, if not, down comes the hatchet. Blackmail is part of the deal. This Masonic secret society has a pyramid style like all the rest. The lower ranks are kept from knowing what the upper ranks are doing. You know? The early 20th century was a period of Reconstruction. Marcus Garvey's Back to Africa movement was in full swing. Garvey represented genuine black leadership. W.E.B. Du Bois, founded member of the NYC chapter of the Boule, which he was a fucking historian who wrote a lot of bullshit, a lot of misinformation, in his books. The Boule was created to keep the black professional away from Marcus Garvey. The remaking of the house Negro was necessary to institute a group of blacks who had vested interest in protecting the elite white system. It was about selling out brothers and sisters for power and money. The majority of black lawyers, doctors, engineers, and accountants were members of the secret club. So is the Pi Beta Kappa Society, which is basically a underwing of the Boule. Then you have Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, you have Obama, you have Michelle Obama, and you have all these different members. It says the late conspiracy theorist and futurologist Steve Coakley had this to say: anywhere there are prominent professional black, chances are they are in the Boule. That's why a lot of you niggas are doing successful. You guys will have big mansions and all these different stuff, in these little white towns, and you wonder why, you have big mansion and all that shit, because a lot of you guys are members, man. It says Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson are reported to have been Boule members, and among many other high-profile, successful, and moneyed blacks such as Barack Obama, Bill Cosby, Al Sharpton. And look what happened to Bill Cosby, man. Bill Cosby has to serve jail time, man. For allegations of rape. Because he wanted to basically have to stop this soon. Yeah, he basically wanted to start up he wanted to buy out the NBC network, and do his own thing. So, he basically became a threat, but I'm gonna just close up. I run out of space on my phone. One last scripture, Psalm 64, and I'll start at 1, man, then close up from there. Psalm 64 and 1. Hear my voice, O Yahweh, in my prayer. This is a Psalm of David. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, man. So this is going into you Illuminati members, you Boule members, who's a part of this newer order, to destroy our people, man. Because you guys are, guys who's a part of Boule, your interest is in destroying your own people, man. You guys are the biggest sellouts, man. No integrity. Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot the arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune laying snares privily. They say, who will see us? They search our iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart that is deep. But Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away, and all men shall fear, and shall declare the work of Yahweh, for they shall widely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. So with that, let's say all praises unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle, the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the brothers out there doing the works in truth and sincerity. And let's say death to you Boule members, you Illuminati, you other nations who's who seek our nation's harm, who destroy our people daily. And Kwam Yasharallah.